What's going on YouTube? The Apophis here and welcome back to my channel. You're here for another episode of Wednesday's Words of Wisdom, my series where I take your questions, your topics, and I give you my insight on them. That's just a quick overview in case you're new around here, which you very well might be. Alright guys, so this is going to be done over some Halo gameplay, because I've been playing a whole lot of Halo lately, and this game actually turned out very well for me. I went like 19 or 9, which is massive for me, because I'm not a huge Halo player, and I'm sorry for the end of this video, but you're going to have to wait to get there. I get the sword, and I don't know, it just kind of, the gameplay kind of died down. I couldn't fucking find anybody. That's the only thing I wish. There needs to be like a 6-man team option, instead of 4-on-4, like I know that's traditional Halo, but 8-on-8, I don't want to play on massive maps, and 4-on-4 is not enough. 6-on-6 I think is perfect, so add 2 more people and I'd be super happy. Only thing I'd fix at this point. Totally not the point of the video. Let's kick Wednesday's Words of Wisdom, ladies and gentlemen. So, I got a submission. I'm going to keep him anonymous, and it wasn't so much a, hey, this is my problem, as it was he wanted my take on how to, like, the way he worded it was how to restore faith, and what he really meant was like how to pick yourself back up after a failure of some kind, whether it be a failed relationship or a failed job or a failed class, or like how do you get back on the horse and get going. And this is something that I put quite a lot of thought into, but I think I'm going to speak more from experience than I am going to thought. I've been in quite a few situations where I've had failed things go on in my life, and it's like, how do I adapt from them? And here's the biggest thing that I can give from this is life goes on, right? If you fail a class, or if you fail at a relationship, life goes on. Things are going to continue to move. The next day is still going to come, and you have to understand that. And if you sit there and you mope or you beat yourself up over this failure, you're gonna stay stagnant, and staying stagnant is the worst thing you could do. You always want to be moving, you always want to be growing, you always want to be learning, and just improving your overall quality of life. And if you get caught up in a failure and you decide to stay stagnant, you lock yourself in your room, you know, you don't want to deal with anybody, you don't want to eat, you don't want to sleep, you put on the whole prima donna show, you're gonna get left behind, right? People aren't gonna wait for you. People are gonna be empathetic. Like, people understand, especially if it's a big life failure. People are gonna be empathetic. People are gonna be there for you. But if you drag it on too long, eventually those people are gonna go, okay, you're gonna need to fucking, you know, reach in your pants, grab your balls, and let's move on. And if you don't do that, then those people are gonna move on without you, and you don't want to lose those people out of your life because they are your support system. So let's backtrack just a little here. I kind of just went off on a tangent. The way I see it, we need failure. When we fail at something large, or we fail in general, it is nothing but a learning and growing experience. Think about it. If you never failed at tying your shoes, would you know how to do it? No. You had to try a couple times to get it right. And each time that you tried to tie your shoes and failed, you learned something about tying your shoes. Whether it be, oh, I can't make my loop that big, or I can't wrap the thing that tight, the lace that tight around the loop. You learned something about tying your shoes each time you failed. And eventually, you got it right. And now that you had the knowledge from failure, you knew what not to do, and now you have success. And now you can tie your shoes, and it's an everyday thing, and you grew as a person, you gained more intelligence. And I feel like the same thing happens with failure. You can take a failed relationship and look at it. Now, what a lot of people do is they take a failed relationship and they put the blame on everybody else that was involved in the relationship. Okay, so like, boy and girl break up, boy goes, oh, it's all her fault, she did this, she didn't do that, she did this, she didn't do that. That's not the right way to look at it. If you fail, let's take relationships for example, since we're on it. If you fail, you have to look at what you did. What did you do wrong? What were your faults? What could you have done better? And you evaluate that. Instead of dwelling on the fact that you failed, you evaluate, you know, oh man, if I'd have done maybe this a little bit more, if I'd have tried harder here, or if I would have stopped doing this so much, then you look at those, and those are key learning points. You know, next time that you can apply the things that you looked at, that you go, oh man, I should have done more of this. Well, next time you know to do more of that. And that's going to make you a better person in your next relationship. Or let's take failing at a class. So if you fail at a class, you fail a class, right? Well, you probably fucked up somewhere down the line. It probably wasn't that you're stupid, right? If you fail at a class, it's more than likely because you were too lazy to do the work. You didn't have good time management. You didn't ask for help when you struggled on things. You didn't take advantage of, certain tutors. You didn't do your readings. You didn't do something, or you did too much of something. You went out and partied instead. You decided to play Halo instead. All these different things, they go into effect. But when you take a step back and you look at what caused you to fail, you're gonna learn that, oh damn, if I just time manage a little better, with work and school and sleep and fun, if I just manage my time and maybe apply an extra 15 minutes to school alone, or maybe if I read the readings twice instead of once, you're gonna learn something about your failed experience that's going to help you in the future. So the next time you go to take a class, you're going to be like, damn, I know last time I screwed up here, so you move on there. The hardest part is getting out of the funk, right? Because it seems like everybody ends up in a funk when we fail at something. We feel like shit, we feel like a failure. And I guess it's normal because we did fail it. We feel like we can't do anything right. We feel like this state of depression, and sometimes it can be hard to break out of you, but you have to remind yourself, life is going to keep turning. The world is going to keep going. Do I want to get left behind? And if the answer is no, then you need to move out of this depression, I'm stuck in where I am at, life step that you're in. You need to move out of that and move into the evaluation stage. Okay, what can I do better? You can't sit there and mistake evaluating what happened with beating yourself up. They're two completely different things. You have to understand, as humans, we're creatures of habit, and we are gonna, if you are the type of person that tends to beat yourself up over stuff, when you fail, you're gonna beat yourself up even more. So you need to ditch that out of your fucking repertoire as is. Do not beat yourself up over shit, period. You're allowed to make mistakes. Every single human in the history of humans has made mistakes. Fuck, every single animal has made mistakes. How many times do you hear of birds falling out of their nest? You think that shit was on purpose? No, it's a fucking mistake. But I bet you that bird isn't gonna fall out of its nest again. Fucking chimpanzee falls out of a fucking tree. Was that a mistake? Yeah, he probably didn't mean to, but I bet you he doesn't fall out of a tree again because he learns from it. So, don't beat yourself up. It's perfectly acceptable to fail at things. Now, that doesn't mean try to fail. If you're failing and because you're slacking, then you need to think about what's important to you. If you're trying your hardest at shit and you're failing, that's an acceptable thing for failure. That's how you learn. You're not gonna grow as a person unless you fail. We've all been there. We've all done it. It's nothing new. You're not an anomaly, so there's no reason to beat yourself up for it. So, if you're in a position where you failed and you can't get out of this funk, you can't get back on the horse for some reason, just know that you're not the only person, that life is going to go on, and take this as a learning experience. Don't take this as a chance to beat yourself up. No, this is a learning experience. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button. There's going to be 2 videos on the screen right now. Click them. They open in a new window. You're going to like them if you like this one. If you didn't like this one, you're going to like those too, so click them anyway. Big yellow subscribe button in the top right-hand corner. Click it. It's going to subscribe to my channel. You're going to stick around. You're going to get great content like this every day, sometimes twice a day, depending on how I feel. Also, guys, follow me on Twitter to find out what I'm doing, what I'm working on, what I'm playing. If you want to say hi, Twitter's the place. I tweet right back. I always respond to my tweets. So, tweet me and I'll get to you. If for some reason I don't get to you, it's probably it got flooded with somewhere down my Twitter feed and I didn't see it, and I apologize. Tweet me again. I'll get back to you. No worries. Alright, thank you so much for stopping by. If you have a submission for Wednesday's Words of Wisdom, all you need to do is send me a YouTube inbox message with the subject Wednesday's Words of Wisdom, and in the body of that message, send me what you want my words of wisdom on, and I will put it in next week's episode. In the meantime, thank you all so much for stopping by. I really appreciate the 20, or it's not 22 minutes. I'm doing 2 videos at once here. I really appreciate the time that you've spent with me. You giving me a portion of your day actually means a shit ton to me. So thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you all have a super fantastic day, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love every single fucking one of you guys that comes by and shares your time with me. And before I forget, because this is the most important part, steal that little leprechaun's fucking gold that you find at the end of the rainbow and make his sorry little green ass cry.